Welcome back. It is Thirsty Thursday. With us this week, Ken Morrison. He is the Beer Czar. You can catch his blog at thebeer-czar.com. And for those of you that have been drinking, a hyphen is a dash, and czar is spelled with a C. That's right, C-Z-A-R. That is your weekly sobriety test. Ken, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I want to talk about your specialization. Your specialization is?
I try to appeal to the new beer fan, the newbie, so to speak, to someone who's not the seasoned beer geek, but more the person who's either just getting started or just sort of casually, a fan of beer, not someone who studies it on weekends and, goes to beer classes or whatever.
Right, and that is not necessarily talking about craft beer. That could be someone who's been drinking Bud Light and Coors Light for years and years and thinks, hey, I might want to dabble into that.
Absolutely. Someone just wants to kind of stretch their palate a little bit, start off slow, baby steps, and, I'm there to kind of help you take those first few steps into the kind of the craft beer world, or just not even craft beer, but like I said, expand your palate.
Okay, now let's talk about those first steps, those baby steps. What are the first steps?
I always say, you start off you don't want to go drastic. You want to start, you make the logical next step as far as
take me from Coors Light. Take me from Coors Light and then talk about that gradual step.
Yeah, to me, I always like to start people off kind of with summer beers. We just got out of summer. I think summer beers are a good next step. Kind of like I always tell people, remember the W's, Wheats, Weissens, Wits. Those sort of, they tend to be a little more flavorful, but they're not heavy. They're not, like a big, dark, stout or a porter. They're lighter in color, a little higher, flavor, alcohol, a little higher. But they're not a drastic, leap from the American light lager that we're also used to.
Right. Let's say I go from Coors Light, I go to like a Blue Moon, and then I think, hey, this is good. I'm into this. But now I'm afraid. Now I go to the Total Wine or I go to Bevmo and I see this wall, this giant aisles. Excuse me. I see aisles of beer and everything has a really cool, funny label, and I think, oh well, yeah, it's got a little dog on it. I might want to try that one or I try this. But I keep going back to Blue Moon because I feel I have the street cred now and I'm going to go back. Once I'm on the Blue Moon, how do I get past that?
That's the hard part, I think. I know a lot of, especially us guys, we hate to ask. That's a great resource. These companies have a lot of people who are there to help and they're really knowledgeable. A lot of us really hate to do that. I think the internet is a great resource to kind of go on discussion boards on the Beer Web, Beer Advocate, or Rate Beer. There's discussion boards where you can be anonymous, so you don't have to feel.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's like asking for directions, but you're asking Siri. It's okay,
exactly.
Yeah,
it's okay because there's really no one on the other end that you're interacting with live. So I think those are great. But and ask people who know, ask them, I like wheat beers. Can I take the next step? Do I go to a brown ale or a red ale? What's the next logical step? And you're going to get 1,000 different answers. You just kind of have to, and you have to experiment, which is the fun part. You have to try things out. I like when you go to a brew pub, get a sampler. Most brew pubs have samplers. That's the best way. And remember, make note of what it is you're having and what it is you like.
And by the way, I would talk about restaurants too. I would think that if you go to the bartender and say, I don't know what this is, can I try that quick?
Yep.
And they'll give you a little sample, right?
They'll give you a little taste, and if and that's a great way. If you don't want to order up a full pint or 16 or 22 ounce, whatever, get a little taste. If you like it, then go with that. If not, ask for a taste of something different. Most bartenders love to educate. I've known, especially in a beer bar, they love to sit with someone and kind of take them through those steps.
Now this week, it's as if we ended summer and fall began. And it's as if someone flipped a switch. I got out of my house and wait, I'm cold. I might need to get a jacket. It's actually cold outside, which for us seasoned beer drinkers, we think, oh, yes, here they come. Here come our winter brews. Here come our Oktoberfests. Here come our pumpkin porters. Here come the really good beefy beers, which makes us happy, yet makes the newbies, your wheelhouse, it makes them kind of cower. What do? Do we take a season off?
No, it's just another opportunity to kind of to stretch your legs, and there are some fall beers that aren't real intimidating. I think perfect example would be something like a Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
Oh,
I know an awful lot of people who love that beer, and people who I wouldn't consider hardened beer people. just kind of, everyday people that like, oh, have you tried that? And then again, and there, that's kind of you get your foot in the door. It's your gateway. Take a Sam Adams Oktoberfest and kind of take it from there and kind of do a little research and see what's the next step. Then you can go to your, I really like pumpkin porters. I'm a big fan of those, and I don't think those are that heavy or intimidating, but to a lot of people they can be, so.
Right, and I think it's important to note the difference between a microbrew and a macrobrew. A lot of the newbies jumping in will hear from the seasoned craft beer crowd, "Oh, you don't want to try that. It's awful. It's one of those macro brews.
Yeah.
It's a Sam Adams, or it's a Blue Moon. You don't want to do that." I think it's important to note, try what you like.
Absolutely.
Even try. I don't care. Be a slave to marketing. If you like the Sam Adams commercials and you think that those are great, you want to try to support that beer, then go nuts and give it a try.
No, absolutely. And those are generally the easier beers to find anyway. Most people get beer at a supermarket. You're not going to find a enormous variety of beer at a supermarket unless you're going to a Whole Foods or something. But I think when you talk about Blue Moon, they have a fall harvest moon. I think is actually, I'm kind of a fan of the Blue Moon line. I think those are some pretty solid beers that are enjoyable to a lot of people.
And there's a variety.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have one for every season, and they're doing more now. So.
And the greatest to look at, especially in the grocery store, to look for those 12 packs. Look for those variety packs.
Yeah.
The
Sam Adams Harvest Classic is out right now, which is actually, I just bought one last weekend. It's not a bad sampler pack at all.
They always seem to, the Sam Adams though, they always seem to stick a fruit in there somewhere. They always it's got something with a fruit in it, and I think you're trying to trick me. You're trying to get me to eat well, and I'm not going to do it, Sam Adams. You can't force me to do it.
The cranberry wit or the cherry. And the fruit beer in the Fall Classics is their pumpkin harvest ale. So
okay.
So there's no cherry wit or anything like that in there. So there's always a Boston Lager in all of them, but
right, which is a phenomenal beer.
Oh, yeah,
a lot of snobs will thumb their nose at it just because it's a macro brew, but it's a really well made beer.
It is. It's very good, and I don't mind having it in my fridge at all.
Right,
it doesn't stay in my fridge very long.
Well, Ken Morrison of thebeerzar.com. Once again, thebeer-czar.com. He is the Beer Czar. Ken, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me anytime. Appreciate it.